Come on, y'all, you gotta join us. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Y'all ready? 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. 2, ready, go. There you go. Y'all gotta join us. You got tables, you got your body. Come on, everybody. If you don't make music, you gotta dance. Y'all ready? 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Y'all bring it down. Super, super quiet. Shh. Good morning, everybody. How are y'all feeling today? Awesome? I want to start by saying thank you. My name is Steve Turner from Giving Tree Music, and it's because of folks like you that we get to work with Camp Circle of Love and Hospice, doing drum circles and drum making programs for the past 15 years. These kids at Circle of Love, as you see on the screen, rocking out, we get to bring drums and percussion for all of them, including counselors, and we make amazing music together. Let's show you what we can do. Y'all join me. 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Echo me. I'll go first, like this. Everybody, let's make it up. Go. Yeah. Hey, drummers, keep going. Bring it down. Keep going. Bring it down. You see, at Camp Circle of Love, these kids come together for the weekend and they work with their therapists and their counselors and they process all of their emotions of losing a loved one. And then we culminate the weekend by making music together. We sing, we drum, we even dance and laugh together. And this is for everybody. You see, drums have a way of bringing people together. It's not about the drum though. It's about the community and it's about all of you. 4, 3, 2, one more time. Let's give them a round of applause. Drum circle round of applause right here. Louder, louder, louder. And who thinks we sound pretty good? That's right. That's because every single person here has been playing drums their whole life. Join me, last thing. You see, it's our heartbeat. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter who you love, no matter who you worship, no matter where you come from, this is your song. We all share it. Make it yours. Make it yours. You guys got tables and body percussion. Join us on this song. Nice. I know, yep. Y'all ready? Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and... Put your drums down and stand up. Receive your applause. Thank you guys so much for letting us be a part of this event. Have a wonderful breakfast, you guys.
Now let's welcome to the stage our MC for home runs, a Jesuit high school graduate, a University of Tampa star, New York Yankees 4-time World Series champion, motivational speaker, and maybe, most importantly, our local hometown hero, Tino Martinez.
All right. Good morning, thank you. I'm a Jefferson High School graduate. Anyhow, good morning. Wow, do you feel the energy? How about those drummers? Let's give them a hand again. It's an honor to welcome you here to Home Runs for Hospice. I've hit many home runs in my career, but none more important that you guys are hitting by just being here today. So thank you for that. I remember not too long ago, Home Runs was held at Steinbrenner Field. This event has grown over the years. Thanks to you, and here we are today, more than 500 friends gathered in support of this very special mission. I recently visited LifePath Hospice Circle of Love for Grieving Children. What an awe-inspiring tour experience. My emotions caught me off guard when I heard how many children lose a parent or sibling. It's 1 or 2 children in any given classroom, just unbelievable. One of the stories I heard at Circle of Love tour was told by a very special lady that you may already know, Jade Stafford. Good morning, Jade. Surprise. I'm so glad you're here today. You captured my heart when you shared your story of not only losing your father in your teens, but a year later losing your mom. I was touched by your courage and strength, and I'm grateful to have met you. Jade now works for LifePath, the mission that changed the trajectory of her life. She is supporting others who are on the same journey of love and loss, heartache and hope. This morning, you'll hear more stories like Jade's and how LifePath helped turn hurt into healing and despair into determination. This morning wouldn't be possible without the support of our generous sponsors. Let's recognize them. Please hold your applause until the end, and we'll thank them all at once. Presenting sponsor, Buchanan, Ingersoll, Rooney. Power hitter sponsors, Regions Bank and WellSky. Grand Slam sponsors, Besnard Insurance, BNY Mellon Wealth Management, Crosstown Couriers, the Nursey Family, PAR Inc. Major League sponsors, Laura Ballantyne, CareSource, Construction Technology, TD Bank, and Vincent Law. Our in-kind sponsor, Diamond View, and all of our other AAA sponsors. Thank you. You are all so important to us, and one last thank you to our table captains for inviting all of you to be here today. Thank you again. This morning, our hospice family is going to share their most heartfelt stories. As eager as they are to share their journey, you can imagine they're a little nervous too. So please silence your phones and give us your undivided attention until the top of the hour. Thank you, and now I'm going to turn the program over to Kim Wolf.
I didn't need these last year. Thank you, Tino. Good morning. I'm Kim Wolf, the Executive Director for LifePath Hospice. My family has called me a nurturer for as long as I can remember. As a child, I cared for my stuffed animals as if they were living, breathing creatures. Before leaving school, I made sure they were comfortable, heads propped up on pillows, tucked under a blanket. In my early 30s, I started my career at the rehab unit of Tampa General Hospital. While I thought I was doing a great job there, my nurse manager continually corrected me. Kim, you cannot keep dressing, feeding, repositioning your patients without them doing the work themselves. You have to encourage them to gain their own independence back. My manager knew my nurturing heart was geared for patients in crisis and pointed my career towards pediatrics. Watching people suffer pierces me to the core and creates a drive within to make a difference in their story. So when I got the call to join LifePath Hospice, I did not hesitate. And when I say call, I mean both the phone call and my life's calling. I have a poster hanging in my office that says, because care of the body first means easing the soul, hospice workers are not hired, they are called. And today, along with 350 of my hospice colleagues, we are answering a call to care for loved ones near end of life. When we enter a family's story, when hearts are broken and spirits are down, we not only care for our loved one's body, but their mind, their spirit, and their soul. A team of doctors, Nurses, social workers, chaplains, home health aides, and volunteers will enter patients' homes with loving families at their beck and call, as well as homes without another soul to love them. We will meet patients at a local coffee shop or under a Tampa City bridge, if that's what they call home. We will care for those who have a robust income and insurance, as well as those who don't have 2 pennies to rub together. This November marks 40 years that LifePath Hospice has been serving Hillsborough County. In 1983, LifePath cared for 8 patients. This year, we will care for over 6,000 patients. For some of you here this morning, we've had the honor of caring for someone you've loved. Honoring special people in our life reminds me of a very brave young girl named Jasmine. In so many ways, Jasmine was a typical 12-year-old girl. She loved her family, her siblings, and her fabulous doll collection. But unlike other girls her age, Jasmine was unable to attend school, go to the movies, or play in a softball league. Instead, her friends were nurses. Her days were filled with chemo treatment, and she used what little energy she had to keep fighting for life. We gave Jasmine our very best care for over a year. As special people do, she gave us more than we could ever give her. And if love was a cure, the end of her story would be much different. Last month, she took her last breath. At home, surrounded by her family and hospice nurses. Jasmine taught us to live each day with courage, to open our eyes to the wonder that surrounds us, to protect the things we love, like her dolls. She inspired me. I hope her story inspires you as well. Jasmine's story has been repeated 548 times just this year. Other courageous patients without funding, without insurance, or any way to pay for hospice services. It costs LifePath Hospice $2.5 million each year to care for the uninsured. This is over $200,000 a month in unreimbursed expenses, $6,800 a day. It's a number that keeps me up at night. How long will hospice care be able to operate at a deficit? And caring for those end-of-life patients is not the end of our mission. We also care for the grieving ones left behind. Did you know that 1 in 11 children will lose a parent or sibling by the time they're 18 years old? That's over 38,000 children in Greater Tampa. That number equates to about half the audience at a recent Taylor Swift concert here in Tampa. Ironically, the concert was the same weekend as our annual grief camp, Camp Circle of Love. Some kids were going to the stadium to see the superstar of their dreams. Our kids were going to a weekend camp to understand why sleep is so difficult since losing the one they love. Camp Circle of Love is a place for children who have said goodbye to a parent or sibling way too soon. I read the camp applications every year to understand their stories of loss. I was shocked to learn over half the children were impacted by an immediate and unexpected loss, a heart attack, a car accident, or a homicide. It was especially difficult to see 10% of the children share that they lost someone they love to suicide. Even though there are 44 synonyms for the word courage, I found myself speechless as I watched the children say goodbye to their surviving parent and board a bus that would take them away for the weekend to deal with their grief. Camp at our year-round grief center helped children find ways to express their sadness, loss, and anger in a safe space with counselors who understand. And thanks to many of you in this room, our grief and services are always free of charge, but not free to LifePath Hospice. The cost to provide one-on-one grief counseling for children and adults, operate 2 grief centers, host weekend kids grief camp, and family day camp for over 3,200 individuals in need cost us $850,000 a year. Between these free grief services and charity care, there is a financial gap of just over $3.3 million. At LifePath, we are challenged with ever-changing regulatory requirements, extreme staffing challenges, and a fragmented healthcare delivery system. The financial gap between adequate care by insurance standards and the right care by our standards literally takes my breath away some days. I worry that one day we may have to say no to someone who needs hospice care and doesn't have insurance, like the gentleman we have been visiting under the Crosstown Bridge for the past 7 months. The 46-year-old patient holding on to life, hoping to meet her first grandchild, and the precious 6-month-old baby who spent most of her short life defying the odds. And as cancer continues to be the #2 killer of children, we never want to abandon young girls like sweet Jasmine. And when it comes to healing a heart from a significant loss, we never want to tell a mom who lost her daughter or a son who lost his dad that individual counseling is just not available. We ran out of funding. We never want to look at a child in the eyes and say, we understand your heartache, but their center's closed for now. And as mental health crisis continues to climb, we know the loss due to suicide requires a unique approach to healing. It sounds simple to say charity care and grief services cannot be offered without generous individuals who care about our mission, but it's true. These life-changing, hope-making, courage-creating programs are available because of you. Your support and presence encourage us to leave our own families each morning and pour our hearts into the other families through the day and night. Your kindness encourages our spirits to keep going when the work we do is so very hard. You help us ensure that every story counts. Thank you.
I lost my mom when I was 16. She's my best friend. Even though she worked a lot, she was very present. And I remember because she would work late and I would always be at babysitters' houses, she would pick me up late, and anything that we did, it was always at nighttime. And I just remember it being, super late and us just being in the park near our apartment building and just circling and learning how to ride my bike, and then sledding down this little hill by another park near our house. And those were my favorite memories. It was just her and I. This year will be 12 years since she's been gone, so gone through a lot of different milestones. My college graduation, also I think heartbreak for sure. I've been through quite a few heartbreaks, and her not being there for me to support me through that has been really hard.
Well, I was a child when I lost my dad. We kind of had that perfect little family, 3 kids, stay-at-home mom, dad worked. You just feel like that doesn't happen to us. Like, what is going on? But it does.
I lost my dad. I was 12, 5 days away from turning 13. He died of COVID-19. I worry that he didn't know how much I loved him. He was trying to get better, and I still feel a little bit of regret that he didn't get to live that out.
I lost my sister, and her name was Julia.
And how old was Julia?
9 months old. She had red hair like me. The time I heard about it was in the afternoon when I was about to go to sleep, and I was crying so much. I just faded and crying. But I'm really sad that I lost her and she couldn't be here with me.
For 2 years, my grief was eating me alive. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. I went from being a straight A student, 5s on all my FSAs, to having all Fs, like almost overnight. I felt really safe around my dad. I felt like a little bit of that same feeling that I got with my dad here, around people that want to help me, and I really appreciated that.
The earlier you open up, the better, the easier it is. It's just that sense of community and having, meeting other kids that are also grieving and are also struggling for a child, I think is super beneficial.
Grief counseling for me has helped me process my feelings out loud. It's been a safe space for me to express my emotions and just vent, just someone to vent to, because my mom was that person. She was the person that I would talk to and share everything and anything going on in my life. So many kids don't have the means to afford counseling, to give them that experience at no charge, and then having your child have a transformative experience, that too is priceless.
It's very rewarding to come back as an adult, and I feel blessed to get to know these kids and know their stories and help them along the way. Knowing that you can make a difference in someone's life it means everything. You put your pain into purpose.
I see the way it's helped people.
I came as a camper at 16, and they asked me at the time what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said, possibly a grief counselor because of this experience.
Possibly becoming a grief counselor because of this.
Because I would love to pay forward all of the help that I've received.
When I lost Julia, it was really hard, but I knew she was still with me because of a bug called the invisible string, made of love and never can be cut.
There's so many things I could say, but ultimately it just comes down to I miss you so much, and I love you beyond measure.
They say when you fall in love with a song, you'll never forget the first time you heard it. Good morning. My name is Travis Coy, and my wife, Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy, is the song I hear for the rest of my life. Teresa and I met in law school. She was a curious newcomer, and I was in my last year. I wish I could say I noticed her and it was love at first sight, but honestly, that was far from the truth. It wasn't until we were both in line for pizza at a student organization meeting when she stopped me and asked, "Why are you so dressed up?" My only response was, we're in law school, right? It was at that moment that I never stopped noticing her. Our friendship started that day and formed over years that followed. Our first date was somewhat of a disaster, but I'm so thankful that we gave it another try and went out on a date to a concert. We laughed through dinner, the concert was amazing, and somewhere in the evening, we both saw each other in a different light. In 2008, I nervously proposed on a New York City carriage ride through Central Park. With our parents' blessings, we became husband and wife. Our careers flourished. Teresa was a social justice advocate and highly respected criminal defense attorney. I joined the prosecutor's office. We would spend long nights debating the law and current events, and her insights made me a better lawyer. Her love made me a better person. When Teresa threw a big 40th birthday party for me and hinted that she was pregnant, my joy was cautiously tempered. We had already experienced 6 heartbreaking miscarriages. When I heard our baby Thaddeus cry for the first time, I finally exhaled. Heartbreak soon struck again when Teresa noticed swelling in her breast and her doctor ordered a mammogram. I'll never forget getting that call. Through tears, she told me the news: stage 3, chemo, radiation, surgery. The words hung in the air like a hot, humid day. Like each of Teresa's pregnancies, I was again holding my breath. I learned to navigate Moffitt Cancer Center like a pro, the best parking spots, the food selection in the cafeteria, and I could navigate through the hospital halls better than the transport staff. Teresa took on cancer like she did everything, with a positive spirit, hard work, and more concern for others than herself. Eventually, we rang the celebratory bell. We walked out of Moffitt that day full of hope for the future. Just shy of 2 years of being cancer-free, she began to have intense back pain. Our drive to Moffitt was too familiar, and the news was not good. Cancer was spreading to her bones and liver. It was not long before we heard those words you hear in Hollywood movies. "We're sorry. There is nothing else we can do." "How much time do I have?" she asked. Before I could say, "I don't want to know," the doctor said, "Days, weeks at best." We left Moffitt and the medical team that we counted on for advice, empathy, and care. We felt lost. We knew we were not fighting. Cancer had won in her body, but her spirits, our souls, were very much alive. And that is when we met LifePath Hospice. They came into our life to care for Teresa's body and her mind, soul, and spirit. They gave me answers to questions I didn't even know to ask. They had walked this journey with many young moms who were preparing to say goodbye to their little ones too soon. They had been by the side of husbands trying to honor their marriage vows of for better, for worse. They gave us a soft landing, a safety net to navigate what was to come. They gave us the reassurance to face the hardest days of our lives. We spent her last days at the Melesh Hospice House, a place that felt like home where we could be together as a family. In one last act of defying this brutal disease, Teresa booked a suite at Amalie Arena for a concert, not for herself, but for me and our friends. Knowing she was under the care of the Melesh Hospice House caregivers, she begged me to go, and I finally relented. Music was our love language, where we found happiness and where we found each other. She wanted that final gift for my soul. Teresa passed away 4 days later, April the 11th, 2022. I hate that I now talk about her in past tense, that she's not here to see our son grow up. But with free counseling from LifePath, they're teaching me grief is not something you run from, and that fear and vulnerability are the only way through it. They remind me that tears are just words that only the soul can speak, and that I'm not weak when I cry. It just means I was greatly loved by someone pretty special. Through group therapy at Circle of Love for Grieving Children, they are helping Thaddeus understand he is not the only 6-year-old who lost his mom, and that grief is another word for love. Teresa will always be the song in my heart. LifePath is helping me make peace with her loss so I can listen again. Thank you.
Good morning. When I was a girl, there was a painting in our home, and I couldn't take my eyes off of it. The artist's name was Evan, and I knew that if I had a son one day, I would name him after him. My name is Danielise Torres, and I'm here today to tell you about my son, Evan, and our journey with my daughter, Michaela, that we've been on for almost a year. When I was raising Evan, I wanted nothing more than to protect him. As years passed, the small, fragile life grew into an adventurous little boy, a patient and protective brother who loved his family, a strong young man who decided to follow in my footsteps to serve his country. He became a person as beautiful and as memorable as the work of art he was named after. With Evan's 18th birthday only 4 days after mine, we were planning to take a trip to Puerto Rico. It was just a trip for he and I, our last trip together before he went off to see the world. I had no idea that the hours and hours of planning this special milestone would be spent in the hospital, clinging to his hand and on to any hope that a miracle would happen. On September 18th, I was out to dinner with friends for my birthday when I got the call that Evan had been admitted to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head. I could not make sense of what was occurring. He was home watching Michaela and getting rest before work the following morning. In just a few short hours, Evan made decisions that would alter our lives forever. The little boy that munched on Little Caesar's pizza at the Funland Drive Theater, the big brother that patiently let his sister put barrettes and ribbons in her hair, the young man who was looking forward to serving his country and building a life of his own, somehow took his own life and left me with decisions to face that no one should imagine. Evan had been examined for brain activity once and was scheduled for a second scan that would determine whether his care at St. Joseph's would continue. I frantically searched for an alternative. I was looking for a hospital that would take him and give us more time. In my frantic search, I dialed LifePath Hospice, and I heard the voice that would become a guiding light through the indescribable darkness reserved for parents that outlive a child. LifePath helped me put together the words to tell Michaela, only 9 years old, that she had to say goodbye to her big brother. They took handprints and fingerprints and helped me navigate the days that I was not sure I could bear. Evan was withdrawn from life support, and my priority shifted to supporting Michaela through a tragedy so overwhelming we couldn't talk about it out loud. She and I wrote in a journal that we passed back and forth when we couldn't speak. I knew she needed more. I called every agency I could think of. I wanted every resource possible to help my child who witnessed such a horrific event to find a way forward. Calls after calls after calls, and I only found one that answered, and that was LifePath Hospice. Again, they were the only ones with the programs that could help us. The Circle of Love provides one-on-one grief counseling so that she can talk about the things that she can't share with others. It gives her a safe place to talk with other children that know what it's like to miss someone that won't ever come back. The counselors share activities that let her express her feelings in ways that she can't articulate. Every other week, we meet in person and we work through the dark parts of our heart, the hard parts of our story. After attending Camp Circle of Love just a few months ago, she wrote in our journal words that I was shocked to read, words that I'm still searching for myself. She wrote, "I think I'm ready to move on." I know she wouldn't have found these words on her own. Eventually, I began one-on-one counseling for myself, as well as attended adult Circle of Love meetings. I find relief when others share about how hard it is to focus at work and how sleep is close to impossible. I relate to other parents who share that they're not the same person after their loss, though family and friends still expect them to be. They guide me when I talk about my drive for my career is difficult to find and that I need something different, a different purpose that will make Evan's short life meaningful and beautiful. It's still impossible to remember anything but pain when I think of my son. But I know he was so much more than his last days. Circle of Love is helping me find him again, to remember all of his life. This mission and what you do is invaluable. For children like Michaela, for mothers like me, I want to thank you for all you do. I want to thank you for answering the call that no one imagines they'll need to make. Thank you for allowing me to share my son's story and ensuring that it counts. Thank you.
Travis and Danielise, thank you. Thank you for the courage to share your stories and to honor the ones you love so much. Good morning. I'm Tanya Hillary, and I'm a table captain for today's event. I'm also a Hospice Women of Philanthropy member, and my husband and I are proud supporters of the mission of LifePath Hospice. As someone who has been personally touched by LifePath, I'm so grateful to be part of this incredible organization. LifePath, as we heard, cares not only for the body, the mind, and the soul, but the heart of everyone who needs them. This morning, you heard the story of Travis and Thaddeus as they leaned on LifePath to care for Teresa, and how LifePath continues to walk with them through their journey of love, letting go, and finding hope again. You heard Danielise share her story about her son and the grief of losing him, and how Circle of Love was the only one who answered her call for help by providing free grief counseling for her daughter, Michaela. You also heard Kim talk about Jasmine, her special pediatric patient. And Jasmine and 548 others without insurance receive free hospice care. At a cost of $2.5 million a year, and with free grief counseling at $850,000, we have a combined $3.3 million financial gap just this year alone. And frankly, that's concerning. In the Circle of Love video, you heard Miles share about the invisible string that connects us all. In his wiser than 6-year-old spirit, Miles reminds all of us who have lost someone that we love, that we're still connected to them by an invisible string of the heart. End-of-life journeys would be much different without your compassionate and generous support of LifePath Hospice. Every family and each unique story they represent is enriched by someone who paved the way to help. Even Jimmy Buffett, with fans all over the world and his family by his side, called on hospice care. And when someone you love needs hospice, LifePath will be there for you too. Because of the generosity of today's sponsors, all of breakfast expenses are covered. What that means is that 100% of any gift you give today is going to go right directly to bridging that financial gap I mentioned. Now, I realize this may not be the easiest time to give. You may be feeling the pinch at the gas pump, or when you're in the grocery store checkout line, or when your electric bill arrives, and you may be watching your finances go up and down. But I assure you, nobody feels it more than our families. Hardworking people who have gone from 2 paychecks to 1. And on top of the economic stressors, feel broken by the loss of their husbands and wives, mothers or fathers, brothers or sisters. Believe me, we would not be asking if the need wasn't so great. When we looked at what we wanted to ask you for, we decided to request what we really needed most. And what we need most is financial support for the day-to-day operations. There is no end to the financial need. Ooh, my mic just died. Oh, backup plan. Very good. Thank you. Is it on? Not on. Is it on? Nope. Mic? Oh, hello? One moment. Is this what they call a pregnant pause? Hello? No. Anybody back there? Okay, I'm being told to talk really loud. Can you guys hear me okay? Beautiful. Louder. Now I just feel like I'm going to be screaming the entire time. Okay, so there is no end to our financial need because there is no end to those who need LifePath. I'm inviting you to join my husband and I as LifePath Sustainer members. Sustainers pledge their financial support in our mission for 5 years, allowing us to provide much-needed support year after year. We have some sustainers in the room today, and if I could ask you to please stand so that we may recognize you. Thank you. You may be seated. Sustainers help patients and grieving hearts tell their stories in their own time and in their own words. When cancer has taken their livelihood and there's no place to turn, in cleansing tears at Kids Grief Camp, and in hope found at Circle of Love. So I'd like to thank you again to our sustainers. Okay, I have 2 very important announcements to make, so it really kind of stinks that we lost the mic. So let me start with, first of all, to encourage each of you today, we have a group of friends who have come together to issue a match, a dollar-for-dollar match for every new sustainer pledge today, and that's up to $109,000. That's an incredible return on investment. I think all of us would want that personally. I'd like to recognize those match friends right now. And again, if you would hold your applause until the end so we can recognize them together, I'd appreciate it. Yay! Thank you, AV. Yes. I'd like to recognize our match friends. And again, to recap, match friends are matching dollar for dollar every sustainer pledge today up to $109,000. So again, hold your applause, but I'd like to recognize Ann Allen, Rick Baldwin, Adam and Mindy Besnard, the DeBartolo Foundation, Debbie Dykus, Dave Finkel, Jane Floyd, Casey Griffiths, Mitchell Rushing Family Foundation, Andrew Molosky and family, Dr. Anthony Muchler and Jamie Klingman, the Nursey family, Bob and Donna Orff, Betty Plott, Patty Chirac, Kathy and Bob Smith, the Stagg family, Julia Steinbrenner, Teresa Stinson, and the Weiser Family Fund. That's just amazing. Again, if we could give them a round of applause. Thanks to these generous friends, if you join us as a new sustainer today, your gift will be doubled. Likewise, if you are a current sustainer, as I am, any extensions or increased giving will also be matched up to that $109,000. Now, I have a second announcement, as I mentioned. And I'm going to ask you guys to listen very carefully because you're going to wonder if you've heard it right. Sometimes something wonderfully unexpected happens. Stars align, divine intervention intercedes, and magic happens. 5 days ago, we were introduced to Helen Rich, a special person in our community. Helen is an incredible woman who has been an advocate for hospice care since the 80s, when the word hospice was barely known. She knew what was best for loved ones was to be able to die at home surrounded by the people and the things that they love. She met with doctors, with nurses, with Rotary, with Kiwanis, anyone who would listen to her passion. And it wasn't easy. And it's because of Helen and others like her that LifePath and other hospices exist today. And her commitment is unwavering. So I'm grateful and appreciative, this is where I get weepy, and at a loss for words to announce her extraordinary gift of $1.3 million. So if you didn't hear me because I was crying, that was $1.3 million. That's going to help close that financial gap of 3.3 that we talked about. And it will make sure that no one dies alone and that no child, husband, wife, mother, father, brother, sister grieves alone. So if you will join me in thanking Helen, who could not be here today. So Helen's transformational gift, combined with what we've already raised this year for charity care and grief support, narrows our financial gap from the $3.3 million to 1.4. So I'm asking you, each of you in this room today, to please help us close that gap with as generous as a gift as you can give today. So now I'd like to ask our table captains to please pass out the pledge cards. So first, for those of you that have attended this event in the past, one of the things that you're going to notice is that there is a QR code on your pledge card. And that's specifically for those who would like to follow along on your phone and pledge or give your gift electronically. Whether you're online or looking at your paper pledge card, at the top of the form you're going to see the Sustainer Circle. Sustainer Circle gifts go towards the greatest and most urgent needs. The first level, which we call Benefactor, is a pledge of $1,000 each year for 5 years. That's $83 a month. On a daily basis, it's about the price of a latte. But that same $1,000 can help 5 grieving children like Miles and Cameron, who you met in the video, receive free grief counseling. If you can give at that level, please check the box. Next, a gift at the advocate level is a pledge of $5,000 a year for 5 years. And this provides support for 20 adults, including one-on-one and group therapy. Please check this box if you're able to give at the advocate level. If you're in a position to do more, please consider a gift of $10,000 each year for 5 years. We call this a champion. This amazing gift helps support 66 patient days for anyone without resources to pay for hospice care. And if you can make a gift at that level, please check that box. For families like Jasmine's who spend several months in our care, champion sustainers allow us to be right there with them and their families every step of the way. Remember that all new sustainer gifts will be matched dollar for dollar up to the $109,000, and pledges may be fulfilled through your transfer of stock or donor-advised funds. If you've become a sustainer, I sincerely thank you. Now, I know in respect that many of you may want to give it at a different level, and the next line is for you. Please let us know how much you'd like to give and for how long. But please know that every gift makes a difference in someone's story. Lastly, if you are a current member of the Sustainer Circle, again, you would know that because you have the purple tag, there's a special section on the form just for you that allows you to either increase your amount of your existing pledge or add a year or more, or you can make an additional one-time gift or make a pledge payment. And again, remember, your extensions and your increases are also matched up to the $109,000. I'll give you a few minutes to complete the forms. I know many of you are still writing, but if I could have your attention for just one moment, it's important that you're about to hear what I'm to say. Whatever gift you choose to make today, we sincerely thank each and every one of you on behalf of the patients, families, and children we serve. You are connected. You're connecting your heart and your story to a spouse, a child, a mom, a dad, or a sibling as they face the most difficult time of their life. And we also thank you for the gift of your precious time this morning. I'll give you a moment to finish filling out your pledge forms. And when you're done, if you'll pass them back in your private envelope back to your table captain. And for those of you that are following along online, you can submit your pledge by clicking click to pledge your financial support at the bottom of the page. Okay, I know we lost a little bit of time with the mic issue. I want to personally, again, thank you all for your attendance today, for your kindness and compassion. I'm going to invite Tino back up to wrap up the program.
Thank you again, Tanya. Miles, why don't you come up here and close us out? Miles is the rock star, by the way. All right, buddy.
People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. Even that you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart. And know that you're always connected to everyone you love.
Miles, that was awesome, man. Good job, buddy. For all of you touched by love, loss, healing, and hope, thank you for joining us and caring so much. And if you haven't taken a free Circle of Love tour at the LifePath Hospice Center here in Tampa, get yourself signed up. I did, and I'll never be the same. Thank you guys again, and have a great day.